So there's been a rapid change to the industry where, whether it is with cloud deployment platforms like Vercel and Netlify and Railway, or with AI app builders like Lovable and Replit and Hercules, they are all creating opportunities for new businesses that can often be run by a single person or just a very small team to create huge enterprise scale companies. The question now becomes, how are they going to use domain names? What is going to be the next wave of the essentially child companies that come from Replit, from Vercel, from all of those platforms that are going to find new, unique ways to register domain names for their users? So I'm Ethan Conley. I am the Senior Product Marketing Manager at Name.com, and I've been here for 13 years, they tell me. I'm long enough that I forget how long I've been here. And so I lead our go-to-market efforts on both the retail and business-to-business side, and then provide a lot of the product marketing, messaging, positioning foundation that all of our teams lean on to talk about our products, market them externally, things like that. So when I first started, the big focus was the launch of new TLDs. It was the first major launch. We were about 6 months away from them when I first started Name.com. So on a weekly basis, we were rolling out 5, 6, maybe a dozen new TLDs. And this could be anything from .ninja and .social to more vertical specific TLDs like .plumbing. That really changed the industry in terms of how we get relevant TLDs and domain names to customers, and that really kind of carried Name.com and carried the domain industry in general for quite a while. I'd say the next big shift that came along was the rise of like really user-friendly website builders, where users are no longer necessarily thinking about a domain first, and instead are thinking about how do they build an entire online presence, marketing, logos, all of that in one place. And that's what Name.com evolved into. And I'd say like the most recent major change now has been the Name.com API and domain APIs in general, where there are so many different tools, whether it's AI app builders or cloud deployment platforms, that users need to get a domain name the moment they're ready to publish or deploy something. And so they're no longer going directly to a registrar to buy a domain name. Instead, they're trying to stay within their existing workflow. And that has been probably the biggest overhaul in my entire time that I've been at Name.com in terms of user behavior and where we see people going to buy domain names. I'd look at the Name.com API as two components. There's the technical component of it, and then there's the partnership component. On the technical side, it essentially allows anyone who wants to embed native domain services or a domain purchase user experience into an existing platform. So let's say it's a website builder. Rather than your customers having to go to another domain registrar the moment they're ready to publish their website, you can create a native domain search experience right within your checkout flow so that someone can purchase their domain name, publish their site, and check out on your site all in one seamless flow, rather than having to break their workflow and drop off and that you risk you lose that conversion. The other aspect of the Name.com API, the partnership aspect, is us absorbing all the messy parts that are inherent to being a domain registrar. When you have hundreds of thousands or even millions of users and they're all registering domain names, it helps to have a partner who can handle the compliance, the fraud, the abuse, all the things that you don't think about come with owning a domain registration flow, but are essential for being able to keep it live, keep it compliant, and ensure that you are following best practices for how people register, renew, and treat the lifecycle of domain names. I'd say overall, what's most impactful is the way the API is architectured for speed so that you can build and ship a domain experience in a matter of days. We've had partners that have gone live in as few as 3 days and have said they had targeted even faster than that, and it was their own product design process that slowed them down. It's faster than ever, going from what used to be a months-long process to now a couple of days to be able to get a working native domain registration experience into your product. Beyond like the overall architecture of it, with it being built to OpenAPI spec, having an MCP server, and etc., I'd say the most impactful feature is the zone check endpoint. Zone check is a new endpoint our team built that allows for nearly instantaneous streaming domain search results. Rather than querying individual domain registries to see if what the user search is available, it allows for hundreds of results to be returned at once using a negative check against the zone file, which is just a very large list of every domain name that has been registered. So the most exciting thing for me that we're launching soon is name.dev. It is a content and education website that complements the name.com API, built for developers and product owners to really help close the gap between our current website, where it's really focused on just getting you signed up and onboard to the name.com API, and the actual API documentation. So deep guided tutorials with code examples and videos of how to build a domain search registration flow, depending on your use case, or case studies that tell you how our top partners found success with the name.com API. It's an entire new content library that helps people get started with the name.com API, dive into the docs, and actually start building a domain integration that really gets domains to their users in the best way possible. All right, well, thanks for joining us as we dive into the name.com API. Our users and our partners drive our roadmap, both for content and for the product itself. So if there's something you want to see from your domain API, leave a comment below or check out the video description for an email address where you can send us your feedback. And keep an eye out for the next videos in the series, where we'll be sitting down with the actual developers who work on the name.com API to talk about what they've been up to.
Thank you.